Hi there, parents. Welcome into your September 2022 full moon in Pisces energy astrology forecast, where I'm going to look at the astrology that's around this full moon in early September and kind of give you the pulse on what's coming and what your experiences that you or your children might be having at this time. My name is Christy Whistler. I am an intuitive, an evolutionary astrologer, and I'm also the parent of two magical, multi-dimensional kids. And let me tell you, knowing the coming astrology has been a game changer on my parenting journey, and even my ability to breathe through the more difficult, intense moments, because I have a deeper understanding of why this is happening. And it's not all in my head or my kids acting out. Like, there's actual energies that are involved in coming in for us. If you would like to get the support and understand the astrology of your kids and would like a birth chart reading for you or for them, please reach out. You can find the details at my website in the link below, christywhistler.com. And please like and subscribe. Share this message if it resonates. It really helps me to get out there to more parents like you who are wanting to show up and be in these new and different relationships with their kids. All right, so with that, let's get into this full moon at Pisces. It's going to be taking place at 17 degrees of Pisces. But before we really dive into the full moon, let's do a little bit of recapping of what the heck is going with this Mercury energy. Now, I talked a lot about Mercury in the new moon video, and I'll go ahead and post a link to that as well, because this Mercury energy, it's still very much active and alive. So a lot of this video is going to resonate with last video. So if you want even more information than I give you here, go check that one out. Okay, so at the start of September, on September 2nd, we have Mercury in opposition to Jupiter. It's the beginning of this month, and then we're going to have a second hit of it at mid-month, okay? So this energy, this oppositions, it's bringing it to the extremes. It's like this extreme has been reached, and now we need to start bringing it into balance. So Mercury in Libra is balance, okay? It's harmony. It's listening to the other, communicating in a way that others can hear you. And in this case, I expect it will be very highlighted communication between you and your kids. So can your kids even hear you? Are you speaking in a way in which they feel they can be heard, and so therefore they will listen to you, right? Or are you speaking in a way where they're just immediately tuning you out and shutting you down? And you could be giving this amazing, beautiful lecture that you have really prepared, and they're not even getting a word of it going into their mind, okay? So that's what I'm speaking of. Are you talking and communicating in a way that your kids can hear you? And if not, is it because you are not consciously meeting them somewhere in the middle of how you are doing this communication? And that same kind of energy can actually be coming out and reflected in how your kids are speaking to you, but also how they are speaking to each other. This is a biggie one because Gemini is the sign of siblings. And so this energy is going to be true as I weave in the Mercury and Mars energy and that trine that's going to be taking place between them, which I'll get to as well. So sibling energy, are your kids communicating in a way where one can understand the other, where one is willing to even listen to the other because they actually feel heard, okay? Now, your kids could be struggling with their communication with teachers and other students as well, especially as we've begun the fall school season. Most families have. We do things totally different. In fact, that as I'm filming this video ahead of time, I will actually be in Glacier National Park and then Yellowstone with my kids and my mom. So that's how we start our school year. But anyway, so this could be a really good opportunity for you to teach your kids like how to listen. How to actually listen. So, but when I say teach them, I don't mean like you sitting across from them and telling them what to do and how to talk to people. We truly teach our kids by modeling for them. So they're going to be learning more from you and how you are communicating with them than you just telling them what to do, okay? It's not what we say, but what we do and how we behave in which that they learn. So be very conscious of that in yourself and how you are interacting with your kids, with your partner, with your family and friends. And it's very much this energy of being able to communicate well and better because you are actually understanding the other person's point of view, where they're coming from. So see where that falls. This opposition between Mercury and Jupiter is falling in your birth chart or your kids to get an idea of how that energy might be showing up for you at this time. What planets and houses might be affected by that opposition. If you don't know where that is and you need help, again, send me a message. I'm here for you. And now we're going to start adding in this Jupiter retrograde part in Aries, okay? So Jupiter energy is this universal law, higher bird's eye view, philosophy, exploring, far off travels, okay? Aries is very much about initiation, exploring, freedom, desires, instincts, the body, sacral sexual energy. Okay, that is the archetype of Aries. So this question, this reflection, because we have Jupiter that's retrograde, so reflection. How have we not been in balance or in harmony with others when it comes to freedom? How may we have been limited or restricted in our freedom by others' laws in exploring our instincts, our body, and our sexuality? Gender stigmas. And is this restriction fair, or is it infringing on our own individual rights? Justice is a big theme here. You may not want to hear this, parents, but be prepared, especially depending on the age of your kids. If you got teenagers, be incredibly mindful that they might get really hot and fierce in what they believe is right and fair around their freedoms, their desires, and their sexuality too. And for younger kids, it could very much be like, no, I don't like that food. You can't make me eat it, or take naps, or potty training. Oh my goodness, you might be getting a lot of resistance right now with you telling them what to do. So instead of you adding to this opposition energy, this energy that's building and building and building and going to these extremes, how can you meet it? Okay, that is what you are asking yourself. How can I meet that energy? Not resist it, but meet it in the middle. This is about bringing harmony and balance. This ability to listen to the expression and words and communication of the other. And again, right on through September, there's going to be a lot of this introspection and reflection on these themes, ideas, new ways of communicating with others, listening to the others, as well as listening to the needs of ourselves. This is going to be very highlighted in relationships, especially around equality, justice, returning to the state of both giving and receiving, which is Libra energy. This is about really coming into balance between yourself and the other, honoring the needs of yourself and balancing the needs of your others, of remaining an individual and not becoming lost in the group. So, if you find yourself being pressured to follow along with the beliefs of your parenting group or parenting friends, schools, and so forth, like really check in with yourself and check in with your child. Don't lose yourself to the values and beliefs of the other. And especially as we bring in this Jupiter energy, this is going to be very expansion. Jupiter is very expansive. Whatever planet is forming aspects with, it's expanding. The higher octave of Jupiter is, it's not about like a parent cult, okay, with only one right way of doing things. Like if you want to potty train your kid, you need to do it this way. All other ways are not true. They are not accurate. Like they are false. And yet, as you parents know, like that's actually not true at all. That how you potty train one child might be completely different how you can do it with child number 2, even within your own family, and so forth. You can even apply that to education, how your child learns to read, what ways and systems work for them are not going to be the same for everyone because we are all different. So it's this diversity and this understanding that there can be many truths that are equally valid depending on the individual and the individual's experience, where they live, and so forth. So really reflect on these themes in your life as a parent. As you go on this mindful journey and start to meet others in your life, your kids included, they will be learning in turn as you model this new way and form for them. This energy here with Mercury is really ushering in new ways of doing this, of communicating, of the intellect and the mind around these issues. So we are being invited to learn balance of these energies, Aries, Libra, and that polarity, especially around freedom, the body, desires, passions, and so forth, our instincts. So what areas are arising for you at this time? What's coming up to be thrown off of your patterns as a parent? And where may you be restricted in your beliefs? This energy, this moment is like striking a tuning fork for your soul to get back on track for where you've wandered off, or where you've lost yourself to others, or given your power away to the others. But truly, I really invite you to feel into this, to the long-term implications of you as a parent and as an individual doing this work. The ripple effect this creates down your lineage, forwards and backwards, and indeed for the whole world. Raising consciously aware kids who are allowed their desires, their voice, their uniqueness, and finding a balance of those needs in relationship to the other, in relationship to you. This is a very powerful, important time to be a parent. And we have this real opportunity to break new ground and new ways of doing things and showing up for our kids as a parent. Also, Mercury in Libra can be about communicating in beautiful, elegant ways. You might be learning how to do this, be getting new insight in how to communicate, where you can be heard and then received by the other. This energy about you listening and the other being able to listen in return. So it's this growing ability to explore new ways of how we can communicate, how we can truly listen to the other. So, for example, parents, Perhaps you've raised your kids in the more traditional parenting style, as your parents had been raised and so forth. This do as you're told and be seen and not heard mentality. And there's no judgment at all on you or your parents in this. I mean, I've been there too. We only know what we know, and you might be having this opportunity to do it differently. So perhaps something like nonviolent communication comes across your path, or echo parenting, or so many others that are like, hey, there's actually other ways we can communicate, in other ways to really have relationships. It's not about getting what you want or compliance from your child, but you're forming something entirely new, an actual relationship where there's both give and take. There's listening, and then there is in speaking and being heard. Or perhaps you have some very unique kids who are experiencing the world in their own unique and special way. What are they teaching you about how they communicate? And allow them to expand your mind, Mercury. They might even, and I wouldn't be surprised, blow your mind open of what they can actually do. And perhaps they can show you, and you are receptive, which is that Libra energy, to their ability and how they might be able to telepathically communicate with you, or how much they access and are aware of the quantum field or the morphogenetic field and so forth. Like, that might be their playground and you had no idea. So can you let them show you? Can you let them guide you into that? And now weaving in more into this energy with Mercury opposing Jupiter, okay, in retrograde. So what is the other feeling about the body? Gender stigmas. Is there only being one way that's pressed at this time, or are you allowing for these differences? Again, there can be these many truths, right? Depending on our individual values, taste, instincts, drives of our own body, the cultures that we came from. And yet, can't the drive of another person's body and desires be true and accurate for them? So again, a very reflective period. How can we find balance within all these different aspects? And of course, depending on the age of your kids, but again, it's, can you be receptive? Can you listen? Can you be that person who can hold the safe space for your kids as they go and explore those areas? I mean, as parents, we want them to be safe. We want them to feel that they can come and talk to us about their feelings, of what they're exploring. Because if we're not the ones that provide this space and this ability to explore and ask questions, they're just going to seek it from somewhere else. From sources who aren't equipped to handle it and navigate it. I mean, online, their peers who are still, children themselves. So it's not about forcing a teaching onto your child, especially around areas like sexuality and gender stigmas and so forth. Like, if you're aware and you're paying attention, your child will guide you with what they are ready to hear and understand. So let them be the ones that lead you. For example, where Eric is, isn't where Kate is, even when she was 7 years old. So he's not going to have the same level of understanding or even questioning of this like Kate. Whereas Kate, we were shopping for clothes that could fit, because both of them have just grown like weeds, and I'm just at that point where nothing fits them. So I had to take care of that. But while we were there, Kate was asking me why there are no video game shirts for girls. And so then we're having this conversation about gender stigmas, about video game t-shirts. Why does she have all the princess ones and the unicorns, and Eric gets the Minecraft and Zelda and Mario? And she's like, but what about me? I like video games. So we're having that conversation about gender equality, you know? So again, let them guide you in what they're ready for. Also be aware that you can have a growing tension around this within your own inner reflections at this time. Questions like, is this right? What my child is upset about? You know, like I got to really sit there and think, like, Kate's really upset that she can't get any shirts that fit her, or that are video games like she wants. And like, no, it's not right, you know? Questions as well as like, is this true freedom? Is this actually in balance? So go outside of yourself and really listen to the other right now. Hold space for their individual, unique experiences and beliefs. Truly hear what they have to say. Now, one of the reasons I went into so much detail about this is because we will have a double hit of this energy. Mercury is going to be going retrograde, and we'll have this opposition again to Jupiter on September 19th. So this first time, it's like this experience, and then we get a re-experience, and this is the chance that we have to really review, to reflect. And then as Mercury comes back around again, the question is, like, what have you learned from this experience? What has changed? This is our soul providing us this opportunity to learn and grow and evolve. And again, it's not going to be just true on this personal level that I'm speaking to, but it'll be globally as well. Okay, now we also have Mars being trine to Mercury on September 3rd and 4th. So again, I'm referring back to the August new moon video. All that energy between them is still active and operational. And that energy is going to really be energizing the mind, initiating the mind, our intellect, our ways of communicating that might be expanding and exploring into new directions, to trailblaze new ways of communicating with others. Also speedy thoughts, jumping from one idea to the next. So don't get upset if your kids bail on one project before moving on to the next. You know, they're not doing it to make you mad. Well, I mean, they could be, especially if you've been really restricting of their freedom. They could absolutely like be using this energy as a way to just kind of really let you know that they're mad. So, which is a really great point, is these energies are feeding into each other. So if you are holding strong on a lot of restrictions of your kids and holding that they don't have as much freedom, for example, don't be surprised if they start to show you their hot, fiery temper and frustration, or express it with their words or with their body. Okay, that's very, very up right now. Jupiter and Aries energy, it's going to be very, it's just real speedy. This energy is very speedy, hot, and intense. I said Jupiter and Aries. Mars and Gemini is what I meant. Speedy, hot, intense, anger, frustration, okay? Sibling energy, like I said, is very up. So you could really be seeing fiery tempers between siblings about what's fair and what's not fair, what's right and what's not right. You know, he said, she said fights. Get really, really feisty about it. Can be explosive and uncontrollable. So I recommend, if that's your home at this time, hold the calm space. Don't get swept up in all that energy. Be the center of the storm, no matter what happens or what is said. Breathe. Ground yourself in your energy after you have these moments with them, okay? Take care of yourself so you can be this calm center space. We might be experiencing, again, this communication coming through in our body. And Mars in Gemini, Mars is going to be there for 8 months, a really long time. So really energizing that mind. Gemini can be very scattered, jumping around, okay? Following the curiosity. And Mars is the focus. So you can even be this like how to help your kids from the scattered and the distraction. What do you want to do right now? Like what's really exciting you? What sounds really fun? That kind of, like, you help them use the Mars energy as their focus. To focus on the mind, focus on their heart and what they love. And as always, you are the model for your kids. So you teach them by what you do, not by what you say. So don't get triggered by their scattered minds. Hold that energy of like, what would you really like to do right now? What really excites you? And then just breathe if they change their mind or when they change their mind. But help hold the space for that focus. And you can even too, like, maybe it is the third project you've started, and you can even express to them, it's really hard for me to keep cleaning this up. Maybe before we start the next one, you help me clean this first, and then we can do this other thing. Really kind of give them this foundation and groundwork, build on this emotional intelligence that is being presented at this time in this energy. I've mentioned a lot about Saturn and Uranus square. That is getting tighter. I will be doing a whole video on this energy of these kids really pushing us to go against the grain. So don't resist this energy. Old versus new, control versus freedom. Meet this energy where it is. Don't resist it. Okay. Surrender to what is. Release this control of maybe, like, it is just really intense and really your child's buzzing with electricity and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, accept it. Breathe instead of contracting your breath. Like, that would be my advice. And keep moving forward. In whatever your dreams or your kids' dreams are calling you to do at this time, again, do it differently. Be unique, experiment, try something new. Saturn's going to make us work for it. But we're getting, like, it's truly in the astrology. This is where we're going, especially as we start adding in the trine with the sun in Virgo to Uranus. Like, yes, this is about, it's this alchemy of this moment of turning this bits and pieces of what we have in our world, in our lives as parents, like breaking it all down and how can we create something new out of that? The pieces that we want to bring with us and really start to shine and see where they go to build this new earth. And I truly believe our kids are game changers at teaching us how to do this. So go into this partnership with them with an open mind to these new ways, new ideas and experiments that they are bringing forward. And some of them, our kids are tapping in straight from the future itself, and they're bringing it to us. Now, we have this full moon in Pisces on September the 9th, depending where you live in the world, 17 degrees of Pisces. Pisces is a very spiritual, mystical sign. It's dreams and fantasy. It's this divine connection to source, God, nature, the environment. This bleed through of energy, flow. Pisces is boundarylessness. And Virgo is very discerning. Virgo is the systems and procedures, the boundaries. Clearing energy. It's very connected as well to the earth. Virgo is like becoming this hollow reed, the painter who knows how to use their tool and just painting and letting the divine flow through them to create like this painting that paints itself. That's the energy of the two of them working together. So here we have is this moon shining a light on Pisces. So again, look at what house is being affected in your chart and your kids. And what do you need to see at this time? What is the moon illuminating for you? What culmination of experiences may you and your kids be experiencing at this time. We also have the moon conjunct Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So be mindful of illusions and delusions, fantasy. Again, we can see this playing out at the global level, media and social media. And can we be shining a light on those areas? And where do our beliefs in this lie? Can we see truth from illusion? And I think it'll be really interesting to see how this particular energy plays out with our kids. This full moon in Pisces. There can be like a lot of fantasies right now, and we can be shining a light of truth on what is fantasy and what is real. And I do believe that our kids can be bringing in like this, it feels like this higher truth, this actual truth coming in from the divine and source of who they are, their gifts that they're bringing into the world. Like we can really be looking at that. So I am very curious to know what actually comes up for you. I find the Pisces energy is the most difficult to understand because it is coming from source. It is this all of connection. I'm still me, and yet I am connected to you, and that's the Pisces energy. So I'm honestly very curious to see how this one might be manifesting in our kids. Because part of me, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I don't really know yet what might be coming out. But I definitely feel like there's it could even be this new understanding of our kids and the gifts that they are coming forward. Neptune retrograde is this reflection time, this progressive, revolutionary. Can we be kind of revolutionary parents in what our kids are bringing forward and holding that space of these dreams of who our children are and bringing those dreams onto this earth? And can we then have these procedures and systems and structures to support them being in who they are? That's kind of what I'm feeling into. But I think it'll be very individual, this energy, especially around the kids. Very individual, very reflective. We might not see this aspect of it at the world stage. I think the same way we will when it regards to like social media and so forth. I will say that this can be a very sensitive full moon for our kids. Especially those who have these extrasensory connections to source, to divine, our world, and nature. So be aware. Look for how that might be showing up in your kids. And can you, as a parent, hold this new understanding that, no, what my child is experiencing isn't an illusion. It's real. For example, the more I learn about the quantum realm and quantum healing as I'm exploring this as a modality that I use, will eventually be using with my clients, is how much engagement I get from Eric. How his senses expand so far beyond what I knew or could have guessed even 2 years ago. How without even him hearing with his ears, because I have my earbuds in, he's fully participating in these sessions and adding in his energy. And when he speaks, to me, it's like this ping coming in, this direct connection from source to myself and whoever I'm working with or doing this session with. Like he is fully activated and fully engaged. So that's kind of what I mean. Be open to this expanding, this boundarylessness experience of your kids and of yourself. And can you hold space and understanding for seeing it and honoring it, especially at this time? Very sensitive. It could be very emotional at this full moon. So this is also going to be about learning flow and learning discernment. Where do you need boundaries and where do you just need to let the flow come? And this ties so much into this give and take energy that I've been talking about with our kids. Where can we let go of control? And where do we need to hold boundaries and structures and rules so they can thrive, right, for their health and their security? Where can we give more freedom to them? And where do we need to hold on to, again, those boundaries to keep them safe? So I find that this September, this end of August into September is going to be a very interesting time, and that us as parents are really going to be held to sorry, my words are kind of getting funky there. I feel that we are going to be asked to hold a lot of space, a lot coming at us from the outside world, and then it's our job, to feel it, right? To process through what's happening, and yet still holding this place of safety and love for our children and them being who they are. Us learning to flow within that balance. Pulling yourself out of the frying pan of the world and the distraction of what's going on and focus on what matters most, ourselves, our own inner healing journey, in supporting our unique kids. So please let me know how the September full moon just reveals itself to you, what comes to the surface to be seen. I would love to support you on your journey. And again, please reach out if you need support. You'll find me, link below at my website. Please like and subscribe. Share this message so we can get this out there to more parents who have these unique, beautiful kids just like yours. Thank you, parents, so much for watching, and I will see you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.